If you had told me 25 years ago that I would be struggling with obesity, struggling with weight loss, I would have laughed you out of the room. I would have lost money on a bet. When I look at these pictures, it's bittersweet. I'm happy, but I'm also sad because the journey to where I am today has been all but smooth. And so I kind of decided to create this as a reminder, a sort of love letter to myself, as a reminder that my journey, my path is always going to be my journey and my path, regardless of what people think or what they hear or what they want to believe. I've carried a lot of guilt and a lot of crazy feelings surrounding my weight gain over the years and my loss of physical mobility. And as the journey unfolds and as I shed pounds and inches, I'm finding it necessary to shed some of my stuff in hopes that maybe it'll help someone else. At one point, I had planned to be a bodybuilder. I was walking around before I got married at a solid 160 pounds. I got up to my heaviest weight at 250. Even now, to say that number gives me pause, but that was the breaking point for me where I knew, girl, you have got to get this under control. And I needed help doing it. So as of today, in May 9th, I'm down 35 pounds and still going. So there's a lot to unpack here on this weight loss journey, and these are some things that I will probably come on and share, over the next several months to see, how things are going. But I opted not to do weight loss surgery. That was too invasive. But I did opt to try the medication route. I tried Ozempic, had success with that. But due to insurance issues, I couldn't stay on that because I'm not a diabetic. So Goldee has been my drug of choice right now. And so far, so good. I'm having good results. I'm feeling good. I'm lifting weights now, getting back to that. And some call it the easy button, and that's okay. It's working for me, and I'm feeling better and getting stronger, and that's what matters. $215. That's my weight today. Let that sink in. $215. And I'm telling you to let it sink in because I got to let it sink in. And the fact that I'm actually on social media telling my business, right? And I'm sure that's the question that people have. Like, why is she on here telling people her business? Is she looking for attention? You cannot ask me a question right now about me and this sharing that I have not already asked myself even minutes before deciding I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger with this recording. And this is going to be tough because the journey to get here has not been an easy journey. But I'm doing this to hold myself accountable. And I need to do this. I need to do this. This is something that has been on my spirit for a while, to purge, some things and get some of this gunk out that I've been carrying around for over 24 years now. And I'm going to try to keep my stuff together. I mean, I have the beauty of editing. I would never do this live because I got too much random stuff going on in my house. But I have the beauty to edit, the luxury of editing if it gets too heavy for me. But I had to ask myself that question. Why are you on here talking about this? Why do you feel the need to share this? And I made a list. I'm a list person. When I have to make a tough decision, I will often go to the old-fashioned pros and cons and weigh the benefits and the detriments of making certain decisions. And I really had to question myself about whether this is really the right thing to do, to share this journey publicly like this. And I kept coming back to a few central points. So I'm going to share, why I'm coming on here and sharing this whole journey. And it's not here. I'm not doing it for agreement with it, for anyone to agree with me. So let's be clear about that. I'm doing this because I feel there's a need for me to do it. First and foremost, I got to lose some of this shame that I have been carrying around with me for the last 24 years as I've been gaining weight. And my clients, I've shared things with them once I started, losing weight because they were noticing that I was getting smaller. And I've shared, some of this with them, not to the degree that some of these episodes will reveal, but I've shared some things and they've been like totally in awe. Like, I never would have thought that, Goldee. Like, I never would have thought. And I'm like, I know. I hold things well. Okay. I am a warrior. Like, anyone that knows me, they will tell you the grit is there. It runs to the bone. But it doesn't mean, like they say, just because a person carries it well doesn't mean that the load isn't heavy. And I've carried a lot of shame around my weight gain and my problems with losing weight, losing it as I was gaining it. And I've never really had a platform or the ability to share it because I wasn't ready to share it. I've shared it with my bestie and we've talked a lot about, what's been going on with me over the years because that's what girlfriends do. But I've never really analyzed it, to the degree that I'm prepared, to analyze and work through and just share some reflections, because that's ultimately what this is. It's me reflecting and having aha moments in the moment. Okay. So shame, it's time to cut that. As I'm losing pounds, I'm trying to release these negative things that have helped to contribute to the weight. Another reason why I'm sharing is because I need to get my ego in check. My ego has absolutely contributed to my weight gain, and I'll revisit some of this stuff in more depth later, but it's also a way for me to check the ego at the door, to humble myself, to recognize where things went wrong, because my goal is that when you recognize where a problem is, then you can address it, right? You can deal with it. So letting go of the shame, checking the ego at the door. But then I also want to help people. I know right now that there are some people watching this, they were strictly had no interest in anything about locs or whatever, but they saw the fact that this girl is on here talking about weight and the fact that she got up to 250 pounds and she done lost 35 pounds. And she's on here telling her business. Now, some people just on here because they nosy. Hey, nosy people. Hopefully you learn something and that will help you. But I know that there are some people right now watching this who feel hopeless about their weight journey. There are people right now contemplating surgery, invasive surgery. There are people contemplating medication and they're on the fence about whether to try medication because they're feeling like nothing else that they've done has worked. And I know with social media, it's hit or miss. There are pros and cons. You guys hear me say this. If you've been following me, you hear me talk about the ups and downs of social media, how it can really, it's an amazing thing, but, it also has some cons to it. But at this point in my life, I'm choosing to focus on positive because there's so much jacked up stuff going on out here in the world that I choose to believe that the people who need to find me, that I need to find me, they're going to find me. And that's going to overpower, the negative stuff that's out there. And the other thing is this, with social media, I have met some dope people in my journey with my business on social media, surprisingly, like people, in social media I've never met before that have just been following my business journey, who have literally been more supportive of my business endeavors and just providing motivation, sending kind words when I was going through rough patches, and sharing a little bit of those journeys and stuff here and there, that have been more positive than people that I've known my whole life. People that are supposed to be cool, that I'm supposed to be cool with, people that are supposed to be my sisters or whatever. And it's been an amazing ride. And I figure like this, I'm a dope person. I mean no harm when I'm on here. I try to spread, positivity and good energy. And I know that if I'm on here, there's other people like me that are on here, that may just need to hear, like, I'm not the only one that's thinking like this, or I'm not the only one feeling like this. So I'm sharing for those reasons, and maybe some more reasons will unfold as I share some of the stuff that I have to talk about. But it is a reflective journal, a video journal for me that I think will be helpful with people who are struggling. Because like I said in the intro, you couldn't have told me, 25 years ago that I would be in this predicament, that I would have been going through this, 25 years with this thing, hanging over my head, just watching the pounds pile on. So if I get to the point where I feel like sharing is not appropriate, then I won't share. If I feel like it's not serving the purpose that I intended for it and it becomes negative for whatever reason, then I'll stop sharing. I'll just go to the privacy and keep this journal for myself and my family, and I'll leave it there. But for now, the assignment is for me to share this in the series of, episodes. And I've got it broken down into some things that I want to hit on because, weight gain is not easy. I mean, it took me 25 pounds to get this much overweight, right? To get up to 250 pounds from 160. It took 24 years. And unfortunately, I don't have 24 years medically to lose it, because we all know anyone that has gained weight, anyone that has gone through hormonal changes and things like that, that you can look at food and it feels like you can gain 5 pounds looking at food. But to try to lose that 5 pounds is like it takes an act of Congress. So I don't have 24 years to get all of this excess weight and all this stuff off of me. So that's why I had to go a route to help expedite some things. So I'm going to get into some details. I can't say how long each episode is going to be because some topics are going to take a little bit longer for me to unpack than others. And, I'll try to factor in if people have, good questions that I see I need to factor in. I'll try to factor those in, sometimes. But I'm going to speak until I feel like I've said what I need to say on topics. But I will try to be brief because we know most people don't have attention span worth as long as a gnat these days. But that is not my issue. You can always come back. You can hit pause. You can come back and visit it. But I will try to be brief and succinct in what I have to say. And I'm going to try to keep my emotions and my emotions in check because there are some things that even still when I talk about them or when I think about these times in my life over the 24 years is very emotional for me. But that's stuff I got to work through. People think that weight is just about eating too much, and there's a lot of shit that gets attached to weight gain. People who are struggling with their weight. It ain't just being lazy. It ain't about just eating and not knowing how to stop eating. It's so much more than that. So I'm going to share these things, and if it works for you and it helps you, sheds light on some things, then then that's what it's about, and if it doesn't, just keep pushing, but I'm going to focus on the people who need to hear that they are not by themselves in this journey. And for those people who are also walking around with this cloak of shame about their weight gain and the decisions they've had to make, to help them, get the weight off. hopefully this will help you work through it and find your own truth. But that's what I'm on in 2024, is releasing things and no longer allowing things to weigh me down. Okay. So I appreciate you. And if you tune in, I'll try to keep them consistent. I'll try not to keep you waiting too much between, when I drop, different discussions, but I have to move when the spirit's on me to move on it. But if you're going to come along for the ride, because it's going to be a journey, I know it is. It's already been a journey. I appreciate you. And I definitely appreciate the support. And for those of you who are just like, man, hang in there. Maybe you'll hear something that helps you get over the next hump. Y'all be easy.